His rent was due in 3 days, but when an elderly woman's motorcycle broke down under the scorching sun, he stopped to help her, even though he desperately needed to get to the interview that could change his life. Because of this single act, he arrived too late. He did not know who this woman was. He did not know that helping her would transform everything. Who was this grandmother? And how did one moment of compassion turn his entire world around? Settle in as we journey through this powerful story. In the bustling neighborhood of Surulere, Lagos, a young man hurried down the dusty road toward the bus stop. His name was Michael. He clutched a brown envelope containing his documents close to his chest as he walked quickly past the early morning traders setting up their wares. There was urgency written across his face because today was the day. Today was his interview. But if you looked closely at Michael, beyond the hurry, you would see something else weighing him down, a deep, quiet sadness that lived in his eyes. Michael's lips moved silently as he walked. God, please, let today be different. His voice was barely a whisper, swallowed by the noise of Okada riders and street hawkers calling out their goods. But life was not always this hard for Michael. Just 2 years ago, Michael was a different man. He had graduated top of his class in mechanical engineering from the University of Lagos. Right after his NYSC service, he landed a good position as a senior technician at Autotech Industries, one of the leading automobile companies in Lagos. Life was sweet then. Money was flowing. He rented a decent 2-bedroom flat in Ikeja. He bought a fairly used Honda Accord that he washed every Saturday morning, and he married his university sweetheart, a beautiful woman named Gloria. Michael loved Gloria with everything in him. He took her to Silverbird Cinema on Friday nights. He bought her Ankara fabrics from Balogun Market. He surprised her with shawarma and Chapman when she least expected it. He saved money so they could travel to Dubai for their honeymoon. For those first months of marriage, life was exactly what they had dreamed of. Gloria would prepare his favorite jollof rice and chicken. They would sit together watching Nollywood movies. They would laugh about their future, about the children they would have, about the big house they would build in their village. But then something happened that changed everything. The company Michael worked for suddenly collapsed. Corruption at the top, mismanagement, unpaid debts. One morning, all the workers arrived to find the gates locked. Their salaries for 3 months were never paid. Michael, along with hundreds of others, lost everything overnight. He tried. God knows he tried. He went from one company to another, carrying his CV in that same brown envelope. He filled out online applications until his eyes hurt from staring at the screen. He called former colleagues, begging for connections, for opportunities, for anything. But nothing came. The calls never came back. The emails went unanswered. Doors kept closing in his face. Meanwhile, Gloria still expected the same life. She still wanted to go out every weekend. She still wanted new clothes, new shoes, new handbags. She still wanted to attend her friends' parties dressed in the latest styles. Michael tried to explain. He tried to make her understand that things had changed, but Gloria did not want to hear it. Slowly, like poison spreading through water, Gloria began to change. Her voice, once soft and loving, became sharp and cutting. Her eyes, once full of admiration, now looked at him with disgust. The insults started small, little comments, little jabs. Then they grew bigger, louder, crueler. One evening, after Michael had spent the entire day in the hot Lagos sun going from office to office, he came home exhausted. He sat on their worn sofa, his shirt soaked with sweat, his spirit broken. Gloria stood at the doorway of their bedroom, her arms folded across her chest, her face twisted with anger. "Michael, look at yourself," she said coldly. "Is this what a man looks like? You cannot even buy ordinary Brazilian hair for your wife anymore." Michael lifted his tired eyes. "Gloria, please, I am trying my best. Things will get better, I promise you." "When?" she shouted. "When, Michael? You have been saying that for months. You said it last month, you said it the month before. I am tired of hearing the same story." Michael looked down at his hands. He had no words left. He had nothing left to give her except hope, and hope was not enough for Gloria. Day after day, the insults continued. Week after week, the pressure mounted. Their savings disappeared like water poured on hot sand. Michael could no longer pay the rent for their flat in Acadia, so he sold his car. He sold the plasma TV. He sold the furniture they had bought together. And finally, they moved to Ajegunle, to a single room with peeling paint and a ceiling that leaked when it rained. Still, Gloria did not stop her complaints. If anything, they got worse. That morning, Michael awoke to Gloria's voice already raised in anger. "You want to continue living under my roof? You better find a job today," she yelled, standing over him as he lay on their thin mattress. Michael sat up slowly. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. Before he could respond, his phone began to ring. The sound cut through the tension like a knife. Gloria folded her arms, her expression hard. "Who is calling you so early? Another person to disappoint you?" Michael picked up his phone with shaking hands. "Hello? Good morning." A woman's voice came through the speaker, professional and brisk. "Good morning. Am I speaking with Mr. Michael O'Coffer?" "Yes, Ma. This is Michael." "This is Tech Drive Solutions. You applied for the senior mechanical engineer position. We would like you to come in for an interview this morning. Can you be here by 9 a.m.? Michael's heart jumped into his throat. Tech Drive Solutions. He knew the company. It was big, very big. One of the top automobile companies in Lagos. But it was far, very far from Ajegunle, and the time, he glanced at the clock, it was already 7:15 a.m. "Yes, Ma, I will be there," Michael said quickly, his voice suddenly full of life. Gloria raised her eyebrow. "So finally somebody called you." "Yes," Michael said quickly, standing up. "Gloria, this is Tech Drive Solutions. This is a huge opportunity. This could change everything for us." Gloria did not smile. She simply turned away, her voice flat. "Then you better hurry up and go. Don't waste this one too." Michael quickly washed his face with the bucket of water they had fetched the night before. He changed into his best shirt, the one he had ironed and kept pressed under their mattress. He combed his hair in the small cracked mirror hanging on the wall. He picked up his brown envelope and held it tightly. This was it. This was his chance. He stepped outside into the already hot Lagos morning. The streets of Ajegunle were already crowded with people going about their daily hustle. Michael walked fast to the main road where he could catch a bus to Lekki, where Tech Drive Solutions was located. When he finally got to the bus stop, there was already a crowd of people waiting. He pushed his way through and managed to squeeze into a Donfo bus heading toward the island. But as the bus moved through Oshodi, everything slowed down. Traffic. Heavy, suffocating Lagos traffic. Cars were not moving. Buses were honking. Okada riders were trying to squeeze between vehicles. People were shouting. The heat inside the Donfo was unbearable. Michael kept checking his watch. 8:30 a.m., 8:35 a.m., 8:40 a.m. His heart was beating fast. Sweat was pouring down his face. "Oga conductor, wait and day happen for front," someone asked. "Na accident," the conductor replied. "Nothing dey move." Michael looked out the window and whispered desperately, "God, please help me. Not today. Please, not today." But the traffic did not move. It got worse. By the time they reached Costain, Michael knew he had to make a decision. If he stayed in the bus, he would definitely miss the interview. But if he got down and walked fast, maybe, just maybe, he could still make it. As soon as the bus reached the next bus stop, Michael quickly jumped down. He held his envelope tightly and began walking very fast along the side of the road. The sun was beating down mercilessly. His shirt was already sticking to his back, but he did not care. He kept walking, almost jogging. Tech Drive Solutions was still far, but if he walked fast enough, if he did not stop, he believed he could still reach there by 9 a.m. or at least close to it. His mind raced as he walked. He thought about Gloria's angry face. He thought about their empty kitchen. He thought about the landlord who had warned them last week that if they did not pay by Friday, they would be thrown out. He thought about his mother in the village, who called him every week asking when he would send her money for her medication. He whispered to himself as he walked, "This interview is everything, everything." He had no idea that something unexpected was waiting for him just around the corner, something that would test him in ways he could not imagine. That same morning, on a quiet street not too far from where Michael was walking, an elderly woman sat on the side of her motorcycle, her face creased with worry. Her name was Mrs. Catherine Williams, but everyone called her Mama Cathy. She was a wealthy businesswoman, owner of several real estate companies across Lagos and Abuja. That morning, she had decided to ride her motorcycle herself to inspect one of her new property sites in Lekki. She loved riding. It gave her freedom, made her feel young again despite her 65 years. But now her motorcycle had stopped, completely. She had tried everything she knew, but nothing worked. The engine would not even make a sound. She looked around. The street was quiet, too quiet. No mechanic shops nearby, no people walking past, just empty buildings and the hot sun overhead. Mama Cathy wiped her forehead with her wrapper. "Why today of all days?" she said to herself. She had an important meeting at 10 a.m. with potential investors who wanted to partner with her on a massive housing project worth billions of naira. If she missed this meeting, the deal could fall through. She tried to start the motorcycle again. Nothing. She tried once more. Still nothing. She looked left. Nobody. She looked right. Still nobody. Fear began to creep into her heart. She was an old woman, alone, on a quiet street. Anything could happen. Meanwhile, Michael had decided to take a shortcut. He knew Lagos well from his days of working at Autotech. There was a small street that cut through from where he was to a main road that would take him straight to Lekki. If he went through there, he could save at least 15 minutes. He turned into the street, walking even faster now. His legs were starting to hurt, but he pushed through the pain. Then suddenly he heard a voice, soft but desperate. "Excuse me, young man, please." Michael stopped. He turned around slowly. There, sitting beside a fallen motorcycle, was an elderly woman. Her headscarf was slightly crooked. Her face looked tired and scared. Michael's eyes went from her face to the motorcycle, then to his watch. 8:59 a.m. He had 8 minutes, maybe less. He took a step back, ready to keep walking. He had to keep walking. But then the woman spoke again, her voice breaking slightly. "Please, my son, I need help. I do not know what is wrong with this motorcycle. Please, I am begging you." Michael's feet froze. His mind went into war with itself. If I stop to help her, I will miss my interview. If I walk away, something bad could happen to her. This place is empty. What if armed robbers come? What if something worse happens? He looked at the woman's face again. She looked like someone's grandmother. She looked helpless, vulnerable. Michael closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened them, he had made his decision. "Mama, I will help you," he said quietly, walking toward her. "Let me check the motorcycle." Mama Cathy's face immediately brightened with relief. "Thank you, my son. God bless you. Thank you so much." Michael quickly knelt down beside the motorcycle, placing his envelope carefully on the ground. He began checking the engine, his hands moving quickly but expertly. He touched different parts, listened carefully, looked closely. Years of experience kicked in. He checked the spark plug, he checked the fuel line, he checked the battery connections. After a few minutes, he found the problem. "Mama, I see the issue. Give me a few minutes. I will fix it for you." He worked quickly, his fingers moving with practiced skill. He tightened some connections, cleaned a few parts, adjusted the carburetor. All the while, he kept glancing at his watch. 8:55 a.m., 8:57 a.m. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he stood up. "Mama, try it now." Mama Kathy climbed onto the motorcycle and turned the key. The engine roared to life immediately, strong and steady. Her face broke into a huge smile. "It is working! My son, it is working! Thank you so much!" Michael quickly picked up his envelope. "Mama, I have to go now. I am very late for something important." But Mama Kathy held his arm gently. Wait, where are you going? Let me give you a ride. It's the least I can do for you." Michael shook his head quickly. "No, Mama, thank you, but I really have to go." "But where are you going?" Mama Kathy insisted. "At least tell me so I can drop you." Michael pointed in the direction he was heading. "I'm going to Lekki, Mama, to Victoria Island side." Mama Kathy's face fell slightly. "Oh, I am going the opposite direction. I'm heading to Ikoa for a meeting at 10 a.m. Michael forced a small smile, even though his heart was breaking. "It's okay, Mama. Please do not worry about me. Just go for your meeting. You will be late because of me." Mama Kathy looked at him with deep concern in her eyes. "Are you sure, my son? I don't mind going the long way to drop you first." "No, Mama, please," Michael said firmly. "You have already been delayed because of your motorcycle. Please just go. I will be fine." Mama Kathy nodded slowly, though reluctance was written all over her face. "Thank you again, my son. God will bless you. What is your name?" "Michael, Mama. My name is Michael." "Michael," she repeated softly. "God will reward your kindness, Michael. I will not forget what you did for me today." Michael quickly nodded, already starting to walk away. "Thank you, Mama. Please be careful on the road." As Mama Kathy rode away, she kept looking back at the young man who was now running down the street, his envelope clutched to his chest. Something about him touched her deeply. The way he didn't hesitate, despite clearly being in a hurry. The way his hands shook slightly as he worked on her motorcycle. The way his shirt was soaked with sweat, but he still smiled at her. She whispered to herself as she rode, "That young man is carrying a heavy burden. I can see it in his eyes. I pray he makes it to wherever he is going." Michael ran with everything he had. His lungs were burning. His legs felt like they would give way, but he kept running. When he finally reached the tall glass building with Tech Drive Solutions written in bold letters, he checked his watch. 9:35 a.m. He was 35 minutes late. He walked into the reception area, trying to catch his breath. A woman sat behind the front desk, her makeup perfect, her expression cold. Michael approached her slowly. "Good morning, ma'am. I'm here for the interview." The receptionist looked up at him with barely concealed disgust. She took in his sweaty shirt, his dusty shoes, his heavy breathing. "Name?" "Michael Okafor, Ma." She typed something on her computer, then looked back at him with sharp eyes. "You are late. Very late. The interview was scheduled for 9 a.m. "Yes, Ma, I know. I'm very sorry. There was traffic, and then something happened on the way, and—" She cut him off. "We do not accept people who cannot keep time. This is a serious company. If you cannot even arrive for an interview on time, how can we trust you to handle important projects?" "Please, Ma," Michael said softly, his voice almost breaking. "Please just let me explain to the interviewer. Something really happened. I was helping someone whose motorcycle broke down. She was stranded, and I could not just leave her there." The receptionist's expression did not change. If anything, it became harder. "That is your business, not ours. We have standards here. You are not competent. Please leave." Michael stood there for a moment, frozen. He could feel his whole world collapsing around him. He had come so far. He had walked so fast. He had missed his only chance because he stopped to help an old woman. And now they wouldn't even let him explain. They wouldn't even give him a chance to sit down and prove himself. He nodded slowly, his throat tight. "Okay, thank you for your time." He turned and walked out of the building, his legs heavy, his heart heavier. Outside, he stopped under a tree and leaned against it, clutching his brown envelope to his chest. His eyes filled with tears. He whispered to the empty air, "God, what am I doing wrong? I tried to do the right thing. I helped that woman because it was the right thing to do. And now I have lost everything again." He did not know that the same woman he had helped, the same woman who was now riding to her own meeting, would soon become the person who would change his entire life. But for now, Michael just stood there under the tree, broken and hopeless, not knowing that destiny had other plans for him. Meanwhile, Mama Kathy arrived at her meeting venue in Ikoyi. The boardroom was already full of men in extensive suits, investors with briefcases, lawyers with thick folders. Everyone stood up when she entered. "Good morning, Madam Williams," they chorused. Mama Kathy smiled and greeted them, but as she sat down in her chair at the head of the table, her mind was elsewhere. "Madam, shall we begin?" one of the investors asked. Yes, let us start," Mama Kathy replied, trying to focus. They began discussing the housing project, talking about land allocation, building permits, construction timelines, profit projections. Papers were passed around, figures were called out, contracts were reviewed. But through it all, Mama Kathy's mind kept drifting back to that young man on the street. She remembered the way his hands shook slightly when he was fixing her motorcycle. She remembered the panic in his eyes when he kept checking his watch. She remembered how he refused her offer of a ride, even though he clearly needed help desperately. Most of all, she remembered the kindness in his face. In a world where everyone was always rushing, always thinking only of themselves, this young man had stopped. He had sacrificed his own urgent need to help an old woman he didn't even know. "Madam Williams." Mama Kathy blinked and looked up. One of the lawyers was staring at her with concern. "Are you all right, Ma? You seem distracted." She straightened in her chair. "I am fine. Please continue." But she was not fine. Something inside her wouldn't let go of that young man's face. She found herself wondering, where was he rushing? Did he make it? Did my motorcycle problem cause him to miss something important? The thought made her uncomfortable, guilty even. When the meeting finally ended 3 hours later and all the papers were signed, Mama Kathy immediately picked up her phone. She called her personal assistant. "Janet, I need you to do something for me urgently." "Yes, Ma? What is it?" "I met a young man this morning. His name is Michael. He helped me fix my motorcycle when it broke down near Constane area. I need to find him." "Ma?" Janet sounded confused. "How will I find him? Do you have his number? His full name?" Mama Kathy paused. She realized she knew almost nothing about him. "No, I only know his first name is Michael, but Janet, that young man sacrificed something important to help me. I could see it in his eyes. I need to thank him properly." "Okay, Ma, I will try my best." But Mama Kathy knew it would be nearly impossible. Lagos had millions of people. How would they find one man named Michael? She sighed heavily. All she could do was hope that somehow, someday, their paths would cross again. That afternoon, Michael walked slowly back towards Ajegunle. Each step felt heavier than the last. The sun was at its hottest point, burning down on his head, but he barely noticed. His mind was numb, his heart was empty. He did not regret helping Mama Kathy. Deep inside, he knew he had done the right thing. A person's conscience matters more than anything. But knowing that didn't make the pain any less. He had lost his chance, his only chance. As he turned into his street in Ajegunle, he saw Gloria standing outside their door, her arms folded across her chest, her expression hard. When she saw him, she walked towards him quickly. "So, how did it go? Did you get the job?" Michael looked down at the ground. "Gloria, they didn't even interview me. They told me to leave because I was late." Gloria's eyes went wide, but not with sympathy, with rage. "You were late? Michael, why were you late? Tell me." Michael took a slow breath. "Gloria, on my way there, I saw an old woman. Her motorcycle had broken down on a quiet street. She looked scared. She was alone. She begged me to help her fix it. So I stopped and fixed her motorcycle for her. That is why I got to the company late." For a moment, Gloria just stared at him in disbelief. Then her face twisted with fury. "Are you mad?" she screamed, so loud that neighbors began looking out their windows. "You left your own future, your own job interview to help a stranger? Are you stupid? Michael!" "Gloria, she was an old woman," Michael said quietly. "She was alone on an empty street. Anything could have happened to her." "So what if something happened to her? Is she your mother? Did she give birth to you? Let her call her own children to help her." "Michael, you are the biggest fool I have ever met in my life." "Gloria, please." "Please what?" she cut him off viciously. "You threw away an opportunity because you want to be a good Samaritan? This is why your life is like this. This is why we are suffering. You think your useless kindness will pay our rent? You think kindness will put food in my stomach?" Michael stood there silently, his pain filling his chest like water flooding a room. He had no words left. Nothing he could say would make Gloria understand. Gloria pointed her finger at his face, her voice rising even higher. "You are lazy. You are useless. You are a failure. Every day I wake up and see your face, I regret marrying you. I regret the day I said yes to you." "Gloria, I'm trying," Michael whispered, his voice breaking. "Please don't talk to me like this. You know I'm trying." But Gloria was not listening. She stormed into their room and pulled out her old suitcase from under the bed. She began throwing her clothes into it, not even bothering to fold them. Michael followed her inside, his heart beginning to pound with panic. "Gloria, what are you doing? Please stop. Let us talk about this." She ignored him completely, zipping up the suitcase with force. She pulled it off the bed and dragged it towards the door. "Gloria!" Michael's voice cracked. "Please don't do this. Please." She turned to face him, her eyes cold and hard. "Talk about what, Michael? About how you're a failure? About how you can't even think properly? I'm done. I'm tired of suffering with you. I want a better life, and clearly you cannot give me that." Michael fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "Please, Gloria, please don't leave me. I will get a better life. Just give me more time, please." Gloria looked down at him on his knees, and for a brief moment something flickered in her eyes, but then it disappeared, replaced by disgust. "Get up, Michael. You are embarrassing yourself." "Please," Michael begged, his hands clasped together. "Please do not leave me. I am begging you." Gloria picked up her suitcase and walked to the door. Michael crawled after her, his pride completely gone, his desperation overwhelming everything else. "Gloria, please, we can fix this. We can work through this together." She opened the door and looked back at him one last time. "Fix yourself first, Michael. When you become a real man, maybe then we can talk." Then she walked out and slammed the door behind her. The sound echoed in the tiny room like a gunshot. Michael collapsed onto the floor, his body shaking with sobs. The brown envelope with his documents lay scattered nearby. His whole world had just walked out the door. His wife, his companion, the woman he had loved and married with so much hope. He lay there on the cold floor, tears soaking his face, his chest heaving. "God, why me?" he whispered into the empty room. "What did I do wrong? I just wanted to help. I just wanted to do the right thing." Silence was the only answer. The room felt colder, emptier, more hopeless than ever before. Michael did not know that his life was about to take a turn that would shock everyone who knew him. He did not know that the deepest valley was just before the highest mountain. But for now, he just lay there, broken into pieces, wondering if he would ever be whole again. 1 week passed like a slow, painful nightmare. Michael sat alone in his single room, staring at the cracked ceiling. The room felt even smaller now that Gloria was gone. Every corner reminded him of what he had lost: the empty side of the mattress where she used to sleep, the space on the wall where her clothes used to hang, the silence that was once filled with her voice, even if that voice had become cruel. He held his head in his hands. "So this is my life now," he whispered to himself. "No job, no wife, nothing." But he could not just sit there and die. He had to survive. He had to do something, anything. After days of thinking, Michael made a decision. He would take any menial job he could find just to pay his rent and feed himself. And while doing that work, he would continue submitting his CV to different companies. Maybe, just maybe, one day something would change. That morning, he forced himself to stand up. He washed his face with the small bucket of water he had fetched from the communal tap. He put on a simple shirt and trousers and stepped outside. The streets of Ajegunle were already busy with people hustling, selling, shouting, surviving. Michael joined them, walking from shop to shop, from corner to corner, looking for work. "Good morning, sir. Please, is there any work I can do here?" he asked at a small provision shop. The shop owner looked at him up and down suspiciously. "What kind of work? Are you a thief?" "No, sir. I just need honest work. Anything. I can arrange your goods, I can clean, I can deliver things for you." The man waved him away. "We do not need anybody. Go." Michael moved to the next place, a pepper grinding shop. "Madam, good afternoon. Do you need help with anything? I can grind pepper, I can wash the grinding machine, anything." The woman laughed mockingly. "You, with your clean hands, you cannot do this kind of work. Go and look for office work." But there was no office work. Michael tried everywhere. Some people told him there was no vacancy. Some people looked at him and refused to believe he could do hard manual labor. Some people simply ignored him completely. By afternoon, he was exhausted and discouraged. But then he saw something. A large construction site at the edge of Ajegunle. Men were carrying blocks, mixing cement, pushing wheelbarrows. The foreman was a large, muscular man with a stern face. Michael approached him carefully. "Good afternoon, sir." The foreman looked up from his clipboard. "Yes, what do you want?" "Sir, I am looking for work, any kind of work. I can carry blocks, I can fetch water, I can do anything you need." The foreman studied him carefully. "You look like someone who went to university. Why do you want this kind of hard work?" Michael sighed. "Sir, life happened. I just need a chance. Please, I will not disappoint you." The man was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Okay, come tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. If you are late, do not bother coming at all." Relief flooded through Michael's body. "Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I will be here before 6 a.m. The next morning, Michael woke up while it was still dark outside. He dressed quickly and walked to the construction site. By the time he arrived, the sky was just beginning to lighten. Some workers were already there, stretching and preparing for the day. Michael greeted them and immediately began working. He carried heavy blocks that made his shoulders scream with pain. He fetched buckets of water that made his arms shake. He mixed cement until his back felt like it would break. Sweat poured down his face in rivers. His hands developed blisters, but he did not stop. He could not stop. As he worked, his mind drifted back to his old life. The comfortable office at Autotech, the air-conditioned car, the nice flat in Ikeja, the restaurant dates with Gloria. It all felt like a dream now, a beautiful dream that had turned into a nightmare. He also thought about the day Gloria left. Her angry words echoed in his mind. "You are useless. You are a failure." Tears mixed with his sweat, but he wiped them away quickly. He whispered to himself, "Some people only stay when life is good. When money is there, they smile and laugh. But when trouble comes, they disappear like smoke." Day after day, Michael continued working at the construction site. The work was hard, but he never complained. The pay was small, but he thanked God for it.
Some evenings he still found time to print out his CV and walk to nearby companies to submit it. Most of them never called. Some people told him they would call but never did. Still, Michael kept hoping. Meanwhile, across Lagos in her luxurious office at Victoria Island, Mama Kathy sat behind her large mahogany desk, signing documents and making business calls. Her schedule was always packed, meeting after meeting, deal after deal. But every morning when she drove past certain streets, she would think about that young man named Michael. She wondered where he was. She wondered if he had made it to wherever he was rushing to that day. She wondered if he was okay. Sometimes she would tell her assistant, "Janet, I still can't forget that young man who helped me. I wish I could find him." Janet would respond sympathetically, "Ma, I have tried, but without a full name or contact information, it is almost impossible." Mama Kathy would nod sadly. Lagos was too big. Finding one person was like looking for a needle in the ocean. Weeks passed, and the construction team Michael worked with did not stay in one location. Sometimes they worked on a site in Festac, sometimes in Ikorodu, sometimes in places so remote that Michael had to wake up at 4 a.m. just to get there on time. He would return home late at night, his clothes covered in cement dust, his body aching with exhaustion. But each night before he slept, he would whisper to himself, "One day things will get better. They have to get better." During this time, Mama Kathy's business empire continued to grow. The massive housing estate project she had signed for was now in full construction mode. Contractors had been hired, workers had been employed, materials had been purchased. The project was happening on a large piece of land she had acquired near Lekki. It was going to be one of the biggest housing developments in Lagos.